Hello, and welcome to Celebrate Ourselves. I'm Salley Gibney. Today's show is Stepping into Spring. Would you believe spring is actually here? You know, we had to reschedule this show twice. First for snow and sleet, and then last week because of that northeaster. But here we are, and spring is here, and the sun is shining, and the birds are singing, and the buds are popping. Oh, I just love spring. You know, it's like a rebirth. I can remember when I was a little girl walking to the bus stop and just enjoying the sun and listening to the birds and seeing the flowers. And, you know, it's the time of the year when we put away all of our heavy winter clothes and we can rekindle our spirit and rejuvenate our bodies. I've even taken out my little spring colors. Well, today I'm so excited to have as my guest Jon Bottoms. Jon is the owner and director of Triad Fitness Center here in Manchester. He's also on the advisory council for the Black Belt Council, Jon?
The Black Belt Hall of Fame out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Isn't that neat?
Very proud of that.
Thank you for coming, Jon, and
You're
welcome. This is so neat to have you here, and you are a pro, not only in rekindling the spirit, but also in rejuvenating our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm originally from Selma, Alabama, and came up north to Cheshire, Connecticut when I was about 13 years old, and then on to Lenox, Mass, both for 2 years of high school in both towns, and eventually came to Rutland, Vermont, to go to college at St. Joe's College.
Up in Rutland.
Up in Rutland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when we were talking, you were sharing with me about when you were growing up, and you talked about your father was a musician, wasn't he?
My father was a musician, and he also was a composer, taught himself to play several instruments. So I grew up with this musical background.
Oh,
so,
that's so neat.
yeah.
That's so. Now, you also shared with me your father's philosophy. He had a really neat philosophy about people, didn't he?
Coming from Selma, Alabama, and
that time of in our history,
oh yeah, it was a very, very rough time for us. Of course, it was the civil rights, the budding of the civil rights movements and stuff. But my father had been away from Selma. He was born and raised there and had been in the service, and came back pretty much with a philosophy that everybody was the same. He didn't think that
he was
blacks were
colorblind.
right. He was colorblind.
Yeah.
So he gave us an interesting philosophy as children that everybody was the same and everybody had something to offer. So it was really nice growing up in that environment.
Absolutely, and that's something you carry through with you forever, you know, when you have that, when you see that as a child.
Exactly.
Now, you went to high school for 2 years in Cheshire, Connecticut.
Cheshire, Connecticut for 2 years.
And then you went on to Lenox, Massachusetts.
To a school called Bellefontaine.
Bellefontaine. Yeah. Now tell us where the campus was.
Well, Bellefontaine is now Canyon Ranch.
Oh my gosh, what a campus that must have been.
And now it's Canyon Ranch.
Yeah.
In a beautiful, beautiful setting down
Oh, I've been to
Lenox.
Canyon Ranch, and it's absolutely fabulous. Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, Now, growing up, when you were a youngster, I mean, you are just in such top shape now, and being a black belt and all of that. Were you into that kind of thing when you were a child? Were you athletic?
Nope, I was very much a bookworm.
Really?
When I was a young man, yep.
Oh my goodness.
Very much studious, always at home, wasn't into sports. It wasn't until I went away to school that I got into basketball and got into sports and just developed a love for fitness.
Oh, that's so neat. Now, what position did you play in basketball?
I was a point guard.
So you had to know where the ball was going to be going.
I had to know where the ball was going and direct a lot of things. So,
oh, that's cool. That's cool. So then, now tell us about how did you get involved in martial arts? I mean, how did that start?
To be honest with you, when I was a young kid at home, I was always a small kid. I was always one on the bottom of the pile. And I was always the one that was picked on by my friends.
Last one chosen on a team.
Last one chosen on the team, if chosen at all. And bullied a lot. And I always vowed that if I ever had a chance to be involved in the martial arts, that I would find a karate school. So it wasn't until I graduated from St. Joe's College. I was walking down the street in Rutland, and I heard these guys screaming and hollering, what I thought were screams and hollers at the time. And I found out where the sound was coming from. I went up these stairs, and sure enough, there was this gentleman teaching a martial arts class, a karate class.
Really?
And that gentleman was Rick Morallo, who used to live down here in Manchester.
Oh,
And he's been my instructor ever since that time, back in 1980.
Wow.
I started with him.
Now, could you tell us that sound? Can you?
It's a ki.
How do you do that?
What I now know is a ki. And ki comes from deep down in your gut. And you say, "Hi." So let me hear you say, "Hi." H-A-I. And that sound is meant to give you extra strength as you do your techniques, whether you're kicking or punching. But it's also meant to scare your opponent. So, yeah.
Oh, isn't that neat? So you got started taking classes?
I got started taking martial arts with him. I was 21 at the time. Yep. And I've been training and started teaching. That was 1980. Started teaching in 1983, 1984. Started working with children at the rec center up in Rutland.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, neat. And then now I know that you, just to skip ahead a little bit, but I know you're very active with children now. And I have met so many youngsters who have said that they've been part of your martial arts program and they just loved it. And also, when I volunteered at the Faith and Nature Camp one summer, I remember at lunchtime, you gave up your lunchtime and came and gave the children classes, and they looked so forward to it.
And I enjoyed that.
It was so much fun. Now, what do you see martial arts bringing to children?
First and foremost, I see the martial arts bringing some physical activity for children. Martial arts will teach you balance. It will teach you to focus mentally. But the biggest thing that happens with children that I see in the martial arts is it brings a level of self-confidence. And that's the way I teach it with the children. I don't teach it as just the kicking and the punching. It's the character building of the martial arts that we like to bring out, not just in the children, but also in the adults. And I've seen self-confidence and self-esteem go way up in both the children and the adults. Very important for the children, though.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Now, do you teach privately or do you teach classes, or how does that work?
We teach privately. I have private students. I also have classes, ongoing classes, taught in a traditional format of martial arts, where you have beginners working with intermediates, people who work with advanced people as well, all in one class. And we also teach a class called Kabox for those people that aren't interested in the discipline of the martial arts, but they want exercise. So it's like a martial arts program put to music, and we do a lot of the basic techniques of the martial arts.
Now, do you do that with children as well, or do you?
I've done it with the children as well, just to teach them the movement and the rhythm. Yeah.
Now, is this? I would think that this would be good for children too, just for physical exercise and for weight control and all of that sort of thing. Does that help in that area? Do you think?
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
Which is so important. Activity is so important for our kids today.
Activity is so important. And it doesn't, we've got children in the class that some of the children may be overweight that come in. And martial arts is beautiful because it doesn't matter if you're lean or if you're overweight. What can happen is it can, you're moving as an individual. And you can adapt it very easily to every individual in the class, and that's a beautiful thing. Yeah. So we've had success all the way across the board.
So it's not like anyone isn't succeeding. Everyone succeeds at their own level.
Everyone succeeds at their own level.
Which is
really
neat.
That's what I've always loved about it.
And I love the idea of the different people at different levels helping the people who are just below them at a level. That really is neat.
Well, what I found, and found it for myself, is that when you teach, you learn. And the more you can teach coming up through the ranks, the better you learn it yourself.
Yeah.
So.
And that also helps with the self-esteem, doesn't it?
And it helps a lot with the self-esteem.
Yeah, that is so neat. And now, do you have as many girls as boys, or women as men? Or?
We probably have an equal amount. Probably more. It's probably more equal with the children than it is with the adults. But I have both boys and girls, men and women in the program.
Oh, neat. Yeah. Now, Jon, would you share with us some of the other programs that you have at Triad?
Well, we have step aerobics, we have yoga, we have Pilates, we have individuals training for, I have one young man that I'm working with right now. I shouldn't say young, he's 49 years old.
That's young,
It's young. He's doing his first bodybuilding contest.
Oh,
he started
cool.
training with me last April, and now he's going to do, a year later, he's doing his first bodybuilding contest. We're working with Lynn Grieger for nutrition.
Lynn has been a guest on our show, and she's wonderful.
She's fantastic. She's our nutritionist there. And I also have Melissa Champagne, who's in doing massage therapy.
Oh, great.
So
That's it. Now, you also have dancercise there.
We have dancercise.
I've done that.
Yeah,
That's
with
fun.
Coach Kapaps, who's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
and she's wonderful.
we have spinning classes for indoor cycling.
What is spinning? I've always wondered what spinning was.
Spinning is a cycling class
that
you do on a stationary bike. You have an instructor, and these instructors take you on imaginary rides. So whether you're, again, a class that if you're an experienced rider, you'll have a great workout, or if you're someone that doesn't ride a lot outdoors, you can still have a great workout. So all our classes are made so it's all for individuals. Everybody can do and move at their own level.
Oh, that's neat.
So that's been very
really
important
neat
for us.
And I know that you are just very involved in the community with young people and with self-esteem and all of that sort of thing. And I think that's so important. And I know you're working on other programs that you'll be bringing forward in the future in that area, and that's really neat. Now, Jon, I want to ask you.
Okay.
I'm interested in, now for me, with my schedule and living where I live and coming, so for me to come at a set time to come into the center is wonderful and I love it and I'd love to be able to, but it doesn't always work for me.
Right.
Is there any way that I or anyone else could come and have you set up a program for me that I would be able to do at home and then come back on a regular basis to see where I am and how I'm going and what we can change?
We can do that at 2 levels, Sally. We can do it right at the gym. You come in, we give you a program, you tell us what you want to do, we sit down and we go over your individual goals and needs. Or we can also come to your house. A lot of people have equipment that they're not quite sure of using. We can come right to your home and help you with the program.
Well, this is the extent of my equipment.
Right. Which is excellent.
I'll come to you,
okay.
but I'll come for, I mean, I would come to be evaluated and then, so let me show you what I have. Now for me, my main things are getting, tightening up, getting into shape. The arms, now that the nice weather is coming, firming up, I guess you'd say, around the waist and here and here. So this is what I have. I have these weights.
5-pound weights.
5-pound weights. And then I have 2-pound weights.
Exactly.
And I have this. Now, what can I do with these? Like, what could I do for my arms?
You can do a lot with just this band alone.
But can you show me?
Yeah. Okay. So, for instance, you said you wanted to work on your arms.
Right.
Okay, and you wanted to tone up your arms. Simple exercise for that involves just standing this way, having your elbow up, making sure your elbow does not move, and you're going to extend. You want to give a little resistance on this side, and you're going to extend out and back down. Don't let your elbow lock out, and keep the elbow in one spot. Don't let it swing on you. You're just going to go up and down.
Okay,
I'm going to have you try that. And that's going to work the back of that arm.
Will you tell me if my elbow is not moving?
And we're going to put this leg forward. There you go.
Okay.
That hand right there. I'm going to turn your body a little bit. I'm going to have you lean forward a little bit, elbow in close to your body, and extend up and back down.
Is my elbow moving?
Nope, it's right in the spot. Boom. And go up a little bit higher. Try to touch my hand. There you go. Now, see how that was very, very hard?
Yeah.
I'm
so
going
I
to have
could let
you
go here a little
let
bit.
go a little bit and go up. So you see, you can change the resistance.
Oh, I see. So you don't. I mean, you don't have to start at the very tightest level.
Right.
Okay.
You're going to try to straighten that arm right out.
Which arm? This one?
This one. Yeah. Up. There you go. And then back down. You feel that right there.
Oh yeah, I do. Now, how many rotations would you do?
You can do what we call
number?
Repetitions. So you might do
repetitions. Okay.
You might do 15 repetitions. You keep your repetitions high. It depends on what you want to do.
Okay.
If you want to build strength, you do less repetitions. And if you want to tone, which you want to do,
tone is what I want.
You want to do a high number of repetitions. So anywhere from 12 to 20 repetitions
slow
of that.
Or?
Slow. I always say slow is better.
Slow is better.
You see a lot of people and they just pump them out.
That would be me. Get it over with.
Exactly. Get it over with. But you're using momentum when you do that. You're not really making the muscle work.
I see.
So I'd much rather see you do something aerobically than have you pump out the weights as fast as you can.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now, what about these weights here?
Okay.
And also, the waist. Oh, there's so much. Well, we'll talk about that another. So what about weights?
Okay. Same thing that we just did, you can do with a free weight. Now, this is a 5-pound weight, but you don't have to use 5 pounds, or you can start with the 5 pounds and always go down to your lower pounds once it gets too heavy. But the same thing, again, working the back of that arm, coming forward and extending up and coming back down and keeping that elbow in one spot. There you go. Now, we talked about this earlier, the breathing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, which is hard for most people. But on the exertion, on the hard part in this exercise, this is a tricep extension. As you extend, you exhale, and as you come in, you inhale.
See, that's what you really have to think
and
about.
And then you got to count and all this other stuff.
that's an awful lot.
Right.
Okay.
So you can either do it in time, like we do a class at the club called Body Sculpting, which is light weights, high repetitions. Now, again, the key
so
factor...
these would be better.
These would be better. The key for that class is that you're going to do... We do 4 minutes, but you don't have to do 4 minutes. You can do 30 seconds. You can do a minute. Whatever you're going to do, and just have a stopwatch and just extend and back in for 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes,
really?
whatever you want to do.
Oh, that's cool.
You're going to really feel that. Another great exercise for the arms, the front of the arms, are simply bicep curls.
Here, I'll give you the heavy one.
Okay. Of course. Thank you. I'd much rather have the lighter ones.
I'm sure.
All right. You're going to come up, trying to keep the elbow in one spot again. Again, form becomes very important. If I'm swinging my arms, now I'm working my shoulders. I want to work the front of my arms, the biceps.
And can you put them close to your body?
The elbow is close to your body.
Okay.
You're going to come up and then back down. Again, now you're going to exhale on the way up.
See, the breathing is going to be hard.
Inhale on the way down. And everybody goes through the same thing. There you go, and then back down. And again, you can do 15 of those to 20 if you want to tone.
So, like, if I came to you, I'd write it down, and then I'd know what I was doing.
We'd set up a whole program for you. We write it down on a chart.
Now, what about the waist?
Okay, working your waist.
Is it better on the floor?
Now, if you want to lose, you want to tone.
Yeah.
Okay, and so now that's what you're doing when you do the crunches, and you see people do 1,000 crunches, and they're doing all this. You're building the muscle underneath. But the thing that's going to help you tone and lose body fat is aerobics.
Oh, okay. So,
but to tone, we can show you some exercises for those.
Good. So,
okay. I'm going to have you go right down on the floor.
Okay.
All right. And lay back. We're going to start with a basic crunch. Now, most people do this the wrong way because they allow their body to arch, their back to arch.
Right.
So first thing you got to do is pull your belly button towards your spine and push your lower back right to the floor.
Okay.
Okay? You're going to hold that. Hands are going to go behind your head. Elbows stay right out.
Oh, out on the floor?
Right back down, just like that. Now, what you're going to do here, again, take that breath in, and then exhale, come up just a little bit, and back down. Now, I'm going to have your eyes and chin come up to the ceiling. So exhale and come up, there, and back down. And back up again. You see how you start to tremble a little bit?
Yeah.
That tells me you're doing it the right way.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Your abdominals are working here. Okay. And if you were to be pulling on your head or using your shoulders, you wouldn't have that little tremble. That tells me that your abdominals are working the right way and you're moving from the abs and not your shoulders and not using your neck. By keeping your eyes and your chin going up to the ceiling, you keep your airway open so you can breathe properly.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
Now that exercise would generally work your upper abdominals. Okay. Now, bringing your hands down underneath you. All right. Again, a belly button pulling in, forcing the lower back down. I'm going to have you just pick your feet up.
Both feet?
Both feet. And now, see how your feet are higher than your knees?
Yeah.
Perfect. You're going to pull using your abdominals, not your hip flexors, keeping the knees locked. Pull your knees towards your chest.
Oh.
And then back out.
Now I'm supposed to be breathing too, right?
And you're supposed to exhale and back in. And you feel your lower abdominals working here?
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you do this, straighten out your legs, and now pull in your knees. You don't feel your lower abdominals.
No.
Okay, so we're going to keep them up, bend the knees slightly, and pull in one more time, boom, and then back down.
Oh, I really do feel that. Oh, that's cool.
Okay. Again, a lot of people use everything else but their abdominals. So the key factor is to go slow. Feel the muscle group you want to work. Okay?
Right.
All right. Anything else you want to work on now?
I think that's it for now.
Okay. So what we would design is a program for you that you could do 2 times a week, 3 times a week.
What do you recommend for people? Of course, I'm one of these people who do it now, do it right, do it all, you know, but it's really better to kind of do it on a doable routine rather than starting it and then
We always suggest
stopping.
that you start off very slow and then build up.
And build up.
Try to think of a reasonable amount of time you can give yourself to do both aerobics and
now the
some
walking,
type of
if
resistance.
you're walking, is that the aerobics? I mean, say that you
walking
walk,
at a brisk
fast
pace,
walking.
so you can still talk, not so that you're totally out of breath.
I usually have my iPod, and
there you go.
I have, you know, Mustang Sally on, and I'm kind of dancing along as I go.
There you go.
Yeah.
But you want to be able to move at a brisk pace to get your heart rate up, depending on your age, to a certain level that's going to help you both increase your fitness as well as burn fat.
Now, age is no factor. I mean, certainly
No.
you have to rate, but all ages should exercise, right?
All
And
ages.
now,
All
for
ages.
people at home, I know that I have a number of people who watch the show who really are almost homebound. And now, are there little things that they can do that will help their muscles while they're at home? I mean,
If you're just starting out, I wouldn't even use any resistance other than your body.
okay.
Okay, so if you're sitting in a chair, for instance, and you want to work the top of your thighs, you're just picking your leg up. Don't go to a lockout position and bring it back down. And you really just try to squeeze the muscle group that you're working.
And this will strengthen, like, the leg muscles
It'll
for
start
folks at
strengthening the
home,
leg
so
muscles
that
and
for
getting you
mobility
moving.
and everything.
And then you can start adding some resistance. You can even put the band tied around the leg of your chair, for instance, and give yourself a little room. And you can experiment with this and figure out what's going to happen. But now I come up and then back down.
Oh, that's cool. And what about the arms?
and
Like,
back
someone was saying even a soup can in
Soup
your arms, like for
cans, yeah.
people to keep their mobility and their strength.
Exactly.
And the same
Just
kind of
soup
thing.
cans, working the biceps, doing the whole thing with the triceps.
And this as well. Now, how would you
Squats
use
you
the
can do
ball
with
and do the arm, like
Well-
for somebody at home?
Okay, you're going to squeeze the ball, which causes the muscle to tighten a little bit, if you can see it. And then I just come up resistance and then back down. Just squeezing the ball. And that's called an isometric type of exercise.
Okay.
So you're
Because I
working
know
just
that
muscles.
even for seniors, to maintain their strength, it's important for them to do little things like that.
Exactly.
Which is really great.
And you can make gains at any age. A lot of people figure, oh, you know, if I'm a certain age and I can't make any gains with what I do, I'm constantly losing muscle. That's not true.
Yeah.
You can make gains no matter where you start in your fitness level.
That's so neat. That's so neat. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, this is wonderful. There's a lot for all of us to think about.
There is.
And now that spring is here,
Exactly.
this is the time of the
This is a
year
great
when
time
we
to start.
really need to start the rebirth. Kind of, well, I am so grateful to you for coming.
Well,
This has
thank
been
you for having us.
absolutely
All
wonderful,
right.
and I can't wait to see you at Triad.
All right.
It's really great. And I want to just, all of you at home, thank you so much for joining us. And remember, spring is such a wonderful time, a time of rebirth and a time of rekindling and celebrating ourselves, being our own best friend and reaching out and celebrating others. You know, just give a smile or a hello to the person you see at the store or on the street, whatever. It makes such a difference. I want to thank my wonderful crew, Walt Gilbert, Bob Gibney, and Art Gilbert, and Elliot in the control room. Happy spring, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.